Peace and blessings. We're here. We're here again. I am Jamar Lee alongside my brother,
SoVD Great.
And before we get into our special guest, I'm going to let him introduce himself because he is so overwhelming. His energy is on an all-time 10. But before we get there, please make sure you follow us at mixitup.513 on all social media networks. Again, it's mixitup.513. And make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, which is Mix Space It Up 513. YouTube, subscribe to us, Mix Space It Up 513. And now, without further ado, brother, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
All right, so my name is David Fairbanks. I am owner, trainer, coach at Lions Pride Wellness Center. If you see the shirts that the fellas have on, my first business that I started off with was Lions Pride Weightlifting. So we just played off of that a little bit with Lions Pride Wellness Center to keep the LPW brand and mantra going. So.
For sure. And we're gonna get into them a lot later. But trust me, this is something that you want to watch, okay?
Oh, y'all gonna love this.
You're gonna love this.
You're gonna love this, man.
This whole show and story is gonna be something to look forward to.
It's gonna touch your soul, give you goosebumps like this. Listen.
So, before we get into it, well, actually, let's go ahead and get right into it, brother.
We're just gonna dive
We're gonna dive into it.
All right.
All right, so Clowney was traded to the Seattle Seahawks.
Man.
And they received the talent of a wide receiver and offensive line from Miami.
No, from Seahawks. So Clowney was a separate trade to the Seahawks.
Yes. I'm just saying for the impact.
Okay, you got
the impact.
Yeah.
For the wide receiver and the lineman.
Laremy Tunsil and Kenny Stills.
Who had the bigger impact in this trade?
I'm gonna say, I know Clowney's the bigger name, the more recognizable name, but I think Tunsil is going to have the bigger impact amongst the two, just because he's going to protect Deshaun Watson's blind side. Watson was one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL last year, and if you just take note, what happened with Andrew Luck, what you're supposed to do is you got to keep your man upside so he don't take too much hits, take too much bruises. I know you can attest to that playing for college sports, college football. I mean, you can know how many times your quarterback gets hit. So, to me, I think Laremy Tunsil is definitely going to have the bigger impact.
So, did you say with that Laremy Tunsil trade, Kenny Stills was in there too?
Yes, Kenny Stills.
So, I think if you put Stills in there, I would say that Stills, along with Tunsil, if you put that together, that would probably be the better trade. But if I'm just looking at it from what we have on here with Clowney and Tunsil, I'm taking Clowney because I believe that a defensive person, that's going to be somebody that you're always going to have to game plan for, a person like Clowney. And literally, if Clowney makes one big play in the playoffs, if he makes one strip sack in the playoffs, or let alone one big strip sack in the Super Bowl, which you can go back to a number of Super Bowls, you can go back to Von Miller or anybody like that, and think of that big defensive play that was made. He pays for himself 10 times over. Tunsil's going to be a good player, but we're not game planning for alignment. Yeah. And hopefully hopefully first and foremost he stays healthy, or else you got another swinging door, for Deshaun Watson. So
I agree with the both of you. My biggest question is, why did they get rid of Clowney? Because when they got rid of Mac, who didn't want to go and who wanted to stay, you heard players coming out like, man, I wish, or I want you, I wish you nothing but the greatest, with nothing but the best. I wish we could have kept you, this, that, and the third, right? With Clowney, you heard nothing.
Crickets.
So, and I'm not trying to downplay who or what Clowney is, because he is a beast. He is talented. But is that natural talent or is that trained talent? Because even with the workout with the Seahawks, you can tell that he was going at it 75%. And he wasn't going at it wholehearted I'm going to show you why y'all got me. Along with that, he only had 9 sacks being opposite J.J. Watt.
That's good. That's a good stat.
I don't think so.
I'm saying that's a good stat to bring up as far as okay.
Because if you can only
have more.
J.J. Watt is one of the supreme top defensive ends in the game. And for you to only get 9 sacks, that's kind of troubling.
Let me chime back in on that though.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you starting with this one because something that happened to me with doing the business over the past year. Like I really got tunnel vision, and I got away from watching sports. And
Sure.
I love football.
As it should be.
I love football,
Yeah.
and that was one of the things where I can come back and talk about Clowney because I remember back to his South Carolina days.
For sure.
Oh, definitely.
And one thing I'll push back with you on. If you think back to him at South Carolina, you think back to all of the hype that he had. I think at some point there was some talk of him just like not playing anymore. Like there was all kind of stuff going on. He could not be playing anymore. Like you could have seen a tipping point. Like if you think back to where it's like he could go one way or another. And you can think of some of the busts, the mini busts that have happened. So I could see somebody like him. Hey, he's made it through that initial, okay, I get all this money, I get all this fame. He got hurt a little bit, nicked a little bit here and there. Like, these guys are as big as me now. Like, I got to work a little bit. And then you go to a team like Seattle to where they're always going to be contenders.
For sure.
And you've got a person at the helm like a Russell Wilson that's going to be just a worker.
Yeah,
definitely.
And make you work.
You could see a dude like Clowney to where now he's a little bit older, a little bit more mature. I think he's got a family, things like that. Like, you could see him kind of like fitting right into that and being like, you know what, like I'm gonna give him 85%.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
I'm not giving him 100.
That's the thing. But that's the thing with Jadeveon Clowney, like 85%
is pretty decent.
Yo, that hit against Michigan, I will be 90 years old, still like, you remember that hit that Jadeveon Clowney when he knocked that boy's helmet off in Michigan?
Yep.
And I'm gonna sound crazy too, but some people gonna remember that.
For sure. I remember there was a, before we move on, and Shaw asked the next question, I remember watching that, and I was just like, you know what? I like the Gamecocks ever since you came back from South Carolina. I'm like, let me watch them because I like the name.
I watched them for a few years after that just because of that.
And the thing is when I was watching, I'm like, man, if he just had a little more speed, if he just didn't care about going around the edge, if he just bulldozed his way, he would be a decent defensive end. But I don't know what they're going to do with him. I hope they get to put.
I think they're going to move him all over the place.
I think they will too.
Yeah.
And before we move on, I just want to add. So I think you'll get that 100% from Clowney once he gets his contract extension, because that's what he wants.
Yep. And and that's the thing. He got to play a certain way. Now you get a strip sack in the Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying.
You're gonna get 50, 60 million probably guaranteed if you play the right way this year. So you might get 95%.
You might get it. You might get it. Exactly. That's the scary part. So moving on to the next one. I don't know if y'all saw. Zeke got paid.
Yes.
Zeke got paid. Held out. Got paid. Highest paid running back ever in history.
Okay, what was his guaranteed money though?
I think his guarantee was 50.
Was it 50?
I think it was 50.
That's the only number I look at in the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't care about nothing. Tell me how much he got guaranteed. That's all I want to know.
So he got paid about 50 guaranteed.
50 guaranteed out of the 90.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you think he's gonna be worth it?
Yeah.
He's worth it?
I think and how I look at things and being a former and continuing athlete and playing on a much lower level, you still end up using your body for your sport. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, Zeke, sometimes with the running backs, you end up trying to get paid for what you've done already. Yeah. Like that's just how the running back position works. So we're like, no, Zeke has done things exceeding and beyond his rookie contract.
Sure.
Pay that man his money. And give him the comfort that he needs to be able to take the 350 touches that he's gonna get this year. That you gonna give him. Zeke's gonna get the ball. Pay that man his money.
I got you.
Period. And they paid him. So they were kind of a little shady with it a little bit there, but I don't necessarily like how Jerry Jones tried to handle that with the jokes and things like that. It's like, hey, that's your star running back, man.
We had talked about that before too.
Come on, man.
I am glad that Jerry Jones listened to me. I'm so glad, because I told you, if you remember, I said he deserves the money for his antics on field. What he does off field, he does not deserve any penny. And I remember texting you and sending you that message when they offered him 57. And I'm like, man, he better take it. Mm-hmm. He better take it. And I was like, listen, if we look at how much trouble he gets in off the field, he's not worth anything over 57.
You only work what you're willing, what you can negotiate.
So now he negotiated the 90 mil. And I'm like, listen, I remember sitting right here telling you, I was like, Shaw, listen, if they don't put anything in his contract that makes him act right to get this money, he does not deserve to get this money. And guess what Jerry Jones did?
Did they put something in
They
that
put
contract?
a clause in there saying if you do not uphold to the standards of a quality player, you do not get this $90 million.
Hey, that's fair because at the end of the day, you should have to work to earn your money.
100%.
So if you have gotten yourself into trouble for the various things that Zeke has, and we're not claiming guilt or innocence one way or another. There's been things that have come up that he's had to deal with. You know what I mean? So when that stuff comes up, those things have also threatened to take him away and have taken him away from football.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't want to pay somebody who can't get on the field. So, I mean, that's fair.
I'm so glad. And I remember because Jordan was sitting right here. I'm like, listen, they need to put a clause in there that if he acts out, if he gets arrested, if he does something that's not on par with the true NFL player, I wouldn't give him a contract. And I'm so Jerry Jones, thank you for listening to me. I'm so glad. I know it came from me. I don't care if you're on the man.
No. Came from me too, Jerry. Thank you for listening.
I was the main rider, Jerry.
You said that part, but thank you in paying that man. Now y'all got a shot at possibly making the bowl.
No,
because you paid that man.
You listen to me.
Because you paid that man. You listen to him. You listen to me. You listen to Mike
got
Irvin.
Everybody paid up.
That's what I'm saying.
They got everybody paid up. They ain't got no excuse.
The next person needs is Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
But they got that. You got the dynasty.
Did they sign Dak?
Yeah, no, they haven't signed Dak yet.
But see,
I thought they gave him a little extension.
They gave him they tried to, but he turned it down. Now,
that was smart
I think the thing about this is they letting Dak know that yes, you are not a top tier quarterback, and we need somebody running the ball.
And here's the thing: they extended 2 other players on defense as well as one of the offensive linemen before Dak.
But you know how this works, though. They gonna come. Jerry's gonna come back. Ain't Dak, brother.
Hmm.
You see what we did around you, right? You see how we did. We got Zeke back in here. We got your offensive lineman to protect you. We're gonna get Amari taken care of. I need you to take a haircut, son. I need you to take 15 mil less. Like, you know that's coming.
He needs
you
to.
know that's coming.
Oh, yeah,
well, and here's the thing. It's up to him to decide. Like, at the end of the day, you got to look yourself in the mirror and you got to say, hey, okay, the difference between making, let's talk about quarterbacks now. He probably would somewhere between 80 to 100 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, hey, it's the difference between taking 80 and 100, and we're not here to count anybody's money.
Sure.
But for me, if I'm in those shoes, it's like, okay, I got my lineman set. I got a running back who, if worse comes to worse,
could be
and I can change the play. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are kind of the things that I look at. We know that ego and different things like that get into it too, where it's like, well, nah, Goff got 110. I need to get 100. You know what I'm saying? You never know.
Yeah.
So,
I totally agree.
Swing that way. So we'll go on to the next one, David. I know you told me. I don't know if it was in the shame or not, but you said you've been an avid Bengals season ticket holder.
I was a Bengals.
Now,
Yes.
I'm a diehard Bengals fan, so I'm a fan regardless. I never held season tickets.
So the way I ended up with season tickets, so back in 2008 when I graduated from college, my uncle Harold, who like a father figure to me, he gifted me my first season of tickets.
Sure.
And that was something to where, I always enjoyed going to the games because I was a Bengals fan, but then I also enjoyed that time with him. And so it was one of those things where both of those kind of continued to reel me in, and then before you know it, I've gotten season tickets like 5 years in a row.
I got you. Okay.
One of those years happened to be the playoff Pittsburgh game with the debacle, and then that just kind of gets me to where we are now, to where it's like, hey man, like I hope the Bengals do well, but I can no longer purchase tickets for that.
Crazy that we are like that. We're fans to the heart. Like, I'm the same way about the Bengals. Like, I really want them to win. But in order for them to win, I think they need to start losing fans and losing money.
Yes.
Because it hurts so much that we can't support them.
How we feel, Mike.
Like,
know how we feel.
We love the Bengals, but I'm not giving you over $100 for some season tickets.
Well, and here's the thing, even down to this as a season ticket owner, to where it's like, okay, you're paying basically like the tickets that we had, which were down in like the Bengals end zone. They were decent seats. We're paying basically like $85 a ticket.
Yeah.
So on some of those games when it gets cold and like we would know some people and go into like the club seating and stuff like that, it's like, okay, I know how much these season tickets cost. I'm not watching the game on the field anymore. I'm trying to watch it on your TV.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All your TVs lag. Like, this TV is doing something different from that TV. Like, just little stuff like that you start to realize, and it's like, well, no, this product is trash. This is like cold food.
Down. Yep, that's what.
Well, and not even talking about the food. So it's just a bunch of different stuff to where we could have a whole podcast on that game and like some of the trauma that's been caused there.
Man, the food quality.
Man, they got rid of Donato's and got some. I think they got Papa John's in there. But the Donato's pizza was so delicious, man.
The hot dogs went down. They used to have turkey. They used to have pork and beef hot dog. Now they just have pork.
Oh, the hurt is real.
It's a list. The list goes on and on.
Real. So speaking about players getting paid and not having anything in their clothes, what's going on with this guy AB, man? What's going on with him?
So your boy Shay Sharp is a guy that like I look to a lot on stuff like this, and he said a long time ago when Brown went to the Raiders, when Pittsburgh let him go, it's like, hey, we understand what this game is. At some point, a person like Antonio Brown is worth all the trouble that he comes along with. Then at some point he's not. AKA when a Juju comes in and does his thing, and then now you get to see maybe what kind of person AB is, because now he's chopping at this guy when, hey, if I got another receiver here and I'm always getting doubled, like, oh, I'm single now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but you saw kind of where his head went, so they end up letting him go, and then now you get this little tic-tac things that have been going on with him over with the Raiders, to where it's like, you know what type of dude Gruden is. I'm wondering how long he's going to put up with that.
That's my thing.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
I'm wondering how long he's going to put up with that.
You know Chucky ain't building up with that, man.
That's my thing. I don't understand
the GM.
how, because old Gruden, like, how do you control Sap?
Antonio, we can't be doing that, brother.
Sap was the diva upon divas. And he, like, Gruden pulled him in and was like, listen, it's team ball.
Well, you remember him dealing with Keyshawn, though.
Keyshawn, too.
Yeah, they got Keyshawn the hell out of there.
Like, how? I don't understand how. Like, Antonio Brown is something of a Mariah Carey.
Oh, wow.
Gruden needs him, though.
No, he does not. He doesn't.
Did you watch that season last year?
I think.
Yo, they couldn't get nothing. And I just watched a little bit here and there. They couldn't get nothing going.
But listen, the reason why I don't think they need him is because, first of all, Derek Carr is not going to be able to throw it to Brown. Brown likes his ball up into his outside shoulder. Derek Carr throws it somewhere in the lower range. So Derek Carr.
You don't think Derek Carr got the arm to get it there?
I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying his natural pass is here. Antonio's like his here, on the outside shoulder. Yeah. Carr doesn't like throwing his natural ability. I'm not saying he doesn't like it, but
trying to learn what. I mean, at the end of the day, we talk about AB being some trouble.
Yeah.
There's also something I remember AB catching countless first downs and touchdowns on us and dropping the ball over people. Like, at the end of the day, he's a dog as a player.
I get it.
So, like, if he catches lightning in a bottle again, like that 0 almost 16 season that the Raiders had, that turns into a playoff berth.
When him and Carr hit that field together, I think we're going to see a whole different subject.
Probably with what you've seen so far, but you know how delicate that is, to where it also, if he can keep his stuff together and they score a couple touchdowns together, you know how momentum works. Like, if they score a couple touchdowns together and start clicking,
that's why success.
Everybody love everybody.
That's why I said success always breeds forgiveness.
Gruden be over there smiling again.
Exactly.
We be done forgot all of this stuff that AB doing. He might even change his hair back to the right color.
Even though we giving this man hell right now, if he comes back and say I apologize and go to work on the field, just like you said with Zeke, if he go back on to work on the field, all is forgiven.
So moving on to the NCAA college football, we gonna switch to you, brother. Favorite team.
So I take I take even more of this approach in college than I do in the NFL, to where I very much was like a diehard Bengals fan at one point, but then as the Bengals would always phase themselves out, I had my teams that I like to watch based on like players that I enjoyed watching, which generally came through the college ranks. Kind of where I am with college right now, I look at like the coaches that are ultimately like kind of over these teams, and or like player stories that I like. So Luke Fickell and UC is a team that I'm looking forward to watching this year, because I remember when Luke Fickell had the opportunity to take over at Ohio State, and even though you knew exactly what they were doing, that was a holdover for Urban to get there. He kept that team together, and I appreciated the way that he carried himself. And then ultimately, I think that led to a job at UC, which I feel like is a perfect position, a perfect coaching spot for a person like him. Just from what I see, and I look at stuff as a coach myself, and just I look at the way that you get to see him like just kind of handle players and stuff like that, to where I always go back to a Brian Kelly, who I don't necessarily care for. And if you watch him sometimes, like it's all that when everything is good, but then it's all this when it's bad. You know what I'm saying? Fickell, from what I've seen, it seems like he's a stand-up dude, and it seems like that trickles down through his organization. I'm also interested to watch Oklahoma, because I'm a big Jalen Hurts fan. I'm a huge Jalen Hurts fan, man. I have my reservations about Nick Saban, because I understand what the college sporting stratosphere has become. But just seeing how he handled that situation, to where that's a tough situation. No, you see the other guy that's in there, he's a dog too. But hey, Jalen Hurts as a man, if you stand here and deal with this, one, it's going to make you stronger, and two, we going to make sure that you get taken care of on the other side. Jalen Hurts would have got a look just off of how he handled that situation in Alabama. But now I think he's going to Oklahoma. He's going to ball out this year.
You see what he just did? 6 touchdowns.
He's going to ball out this year. And I'm going to love every second of it, man, because I love seeing people push through adversity. I know that had to be hard to stand over there and have to say, like, no, this guy's good. Like, I might even have to say this guy is better than me right now. But I know I'm still a great player within my own right. Like that's the part of sports that I love. You know what I mean? So I hate putting it into like a favorite team, or like letting the fandom take over it. Like when you got those type of stories like that are in there. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna be keeping an eye on those two teams. I'm hoping to get down to Miami this year. A couple guys that I played with, the U. So here's the thing. So I played ball with a lot of guys from that Miami-Dade area in college, and a couple of my dudes, Elio and Pat. This was the first coming, will actually be the second coming of the U, like not the Michael Irvin U, but then like when they had all them guys. All them guys. So that's when we was at school together. And that's all they would. The U, baby. It's all about the U, baby. And then they had their little dip. And then now they came back with the turnover chain and all of that. Man, I hit Elio up last year. I'm like, look, man. And this year, I didn't hit him up right. I'm like, hey, let me know. I'm coming down to Miami. I want to go to a game. So I'm going to be looking out for them too, because that goes back to folks that I play ball with. So
I got you. So real quick, so mine, I got two. So my throwback has always been, my team's been a U. But once they went through their little transparency, and I've been a big college basketball fan of Michigan State, I started becoming a fan of their football team, not only just because of the basketball program, but because they took an old UC coach,
D'Antonio.
And that's when I followed him.
Who I liken to a Fickell. He just a blue-collar dude, man. And I feel like he takes care. I always love coaches who I feel like take care of their kids.
That's the thing. He takes care of his players. It's his players first. Players is always first with him. And not only that, like you said, the blue-collar, the hard work ethic. You know, they don't always get the first class, the blue-chip athletes, the 5-star rate athletes. He gets what he gets. He grooms them up. He knows how to coach. He knows how to develop talent.
And they don't play scared.
Not at all.
They don't play scared. They play up to their competition every time.
So, who's your college championship prediction?
Shoot, I'm gonna just go with Oklahoma, because I ain't really been watching that much. It's like, hey, from what I seen from him, you gonna have to stop. You gonna have to stop them, because I know they got athletes coming through. Now you saying you got a dual threat quarterback? that's running them athletes that's got something to prove, go with them until I see otherwise.
Man, I hate going with the grain, but Clemson
is.
I hate going with the grain, man, but
I don't like Clemson. I don't like Dabo, man. I'm not a Dabo fan.
I was going to ask, is it Dabo sweet?
I am not a Dabo fan.
That's what I was going to say.
I am not a Dabo fan.
A lot of time it comes down to the coaches.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite team, man?
I think since I'm just a hometown boy, I have to go Ohio State. I love watching. I don't really enjoy their basketball
That's understandable.
team so much. The last time I liked them was when
Odin played.
Mm-hmm. And even then they weren't great. But I like the structure in which their athletic director is trying to take them in the last 6-7 years. I just love O State, and that's just because I'm an Ohio fan. I want to say UC, but sometimes they're just so topsy-turvy. And, I mean, I was when we went to UC. But then they started going down, and then they just hit that rough patch. So I can't be a UC fan. I used to be a West Virginia fan just because of Huggins. So that's just...
I'm happy you said because of Huggins.
That's the coaches.
I'm happy you said that.
That's the coaches, man.
So who's your you said
I say Clemson.
Clemson. I'm going to go with Oklahoma.
Okay.
Because Hurts, their running back looking nice. They got a good defensive strategy. I don't think any of their defensive players are stars, but they damn sure do play their roles very good. So there is a thing about college players being able to leave from the football early to enter the draft. I doubt that they actually do it, but I read the article, and the article kind of made sense. They were saying that if you want to stop the holdouts, if you want to stop people from being the quote-unquote divas, allow these kids, these young men, to leave college early after a year, such as the NBA does. Do you think that's possible?
If they're not going to pay them at the college level, I think that they should be allowed to leave. But then I think there should still be some structure to it, because I do think the type of game that football is, there is a major learning curve to where you need a certain amount of on-field repetitions to get you ready to play at that speed. So I think they've done and thrown around this idea a number of times of trying to get some sort of developmental league that sticks and actually does what it should to develop players. But no, at the end of the day, I think that they should have the right to do that if that's something that everybody can pass and agree on. If they're not going to figure out a way to pay them at the collegiate level.
I agree.
I agree with y'all 100%. There's no reason that if you know that you're going to be a highly talented player, highly drafted player,
or else they're going to hold out.
That's the thing. Like they gave up an example like Leonard Fournette at LSU. There was no reason for him to take all them additional hits. He knew he was going to go. They knew he was going to go. So why do the wear and tear on him? Or the same thing this year that's going on with Jonathan Taylor. Who last year I think they said ran for over like 1,000 yards over the total years. He ran over 4,000 yards in college. Why you continue to put this man through all this, through all that contact, which is going to batter him down in the NFL?
I'm always going to be about player empowerment, man.
Yeah,
Anything that's taking care of those guys,
absolutely.
Especially when you know the type of money that's made off of them.
I think the main point that hit me is that the average running back comes in 23, 24-year-old. And by that time, they only have 4 or 5 great years because their body's so worn down. And then you expect them to carry at least 50 times a game.
Or touch the ball somehow, some way,
And they're getting beat up after just now receiving all those hits in college. So I think it makes sense to me.
It is a good thing now. I know that there's been some different insurance policies and stuff like that some of those bigger players are able to put in place so that even if they don't hit like a certain draft status, like it insures them on some money, like because of an injury or something like that. So I do appreciate that you get to see some of that stuff that it seems like they're trying to do stuff to help empower the players. But then you always wonder, are they just doing this because they feel like they've kind of gotten caught with their pants down? Like we see now what the money is, so.
Well, NBA, U.S. Olympics, the United States team almost lost to Turkey in OT. Barely pulled it off. and they just won by 1 point, all because Turkey missed 4 straight free throws in OT. Do you see this kind of transpiring like they did for a redeem team if the U.S. loses again? Or do you think the superstars will continue to stay focused on the regular season and neglect the U.S. Olympic team?
I think that they will continue to neglect. I was reading that, like, what was the point of being on the Team USA? And they do get paid, but it's mainly on accolades. Like, I don't understand if you are going to represent where you're from in this Olympic game, why they don't pay them what they're due.
It's for the patriotism, man.
I get it,
Doing
but
it for the country.
At some point, just like, but what has the country done for me?
Again, we could have another whole
for sure.
series of
For
podcasts
sure, yeah.
about that.
For
You
sure.
know what I mean?
I just like, and I'm a patriot. I'm a Marine. I stepped on yellow footprints, and I would do it all over again. However, if it comes to my livelihood, or if it's livelihood,
It's a time thing. That's a major time commitment.
Like, because you this is the off season when you're relaxing. You're supposed to be critiquing your skill, not so much putting your body through this. Why would I go out there and play hardball? Like,
especially when the amount of money that is in those guaranteed contracts for the NBA, like, nah, for that, like, no.
For sure.
Like, I know what I get compensated for my time on the court during the NBA season. That's substantial.
And then you got to think branding wise. If you're not with Nike and you're with Adidas, you're definitely losing out on a paycheck if you go for Team USA. I mean, it's just so much other.
It's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So that's going to be something that they'll deal with, I feel like. And then if it gets worse, then, we got to get the players involved again. And then we'll have, it'll be like it was last time where everybody, like, started getting in. We went and kicked everybody's butt again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So on to pop culture, Kevin Hart's car crash. If you don't know, Kevin Hart got into a serious car crash and found out that he was not driving. But his security guard did pull him from the wreck and then take him home to be treated at the house. Finds out that he had a severed spine. I think it was.
Yeah, he had a pretty bad back injury. He had to have surgery.
Yeah, and he's going to be out of commission for a couple of weeks, and then it's going to take years upon years for his physical therapy. So have you ever been in a car crash? What was the cause? Was it serious?
I've never been in a serious car crash. I had a little fender bender in my first car, my Camry, and I rode a motorcycle. Hope to get back to riding again at some point once I get the business up. But I rode a motorcycle and was just a very avid rider for probably about 5 or 6 years. Thankfully, I never went down. I did see a couple people go down, a couple friends that went down, and it's a scary thing to see. I know people that I rode with that went down and never got back up. So it's a real thing. And that's where you start to get into, like, what really matters. Like, I know Kevin Hart, for the most part, like, he's somebody that's really loved and a beloved kind of person. But then we always get into these things where you get a little tick for tack back and forth with stuff. And I think it's been cool to where everybody has just came out and been like, hey, like, even I know he had a little thing with Mike Epps. He didn't get to be anything crazy, but even Mike came out like, well, nah, that's BS at this point. Like, no, like, I want to make sure that he's good. And, like, I can appreciate when people can put their differences aside, and we don't always just have to hate each other because we don't see eye to eye on stuff.
Right. So
I've only been in one car wreck.
I forgot about that.
And I know you didn't.
Yes, I did. Nice. I did forget about it, brother.
So I only been in one car wreck.
At least y'all can laugh about it, so it must be a funny story behind it.
So I'll tell y'all the whole story and make it as quick as I can.
Please don't.
I am.
Make it PG-13.
It's going to be PG-13.
Okay.
A little bit R.
No.
So I got into this car wreck. I was driving a Saturn. I was coming around a bend. Come on, don't laugh at it too much. I was driving a Saturn, coming around a bend, wrecked into a parked car, right? I didn't have my license yet either. I just had my temps. So I told, because I was embarrassed. So I went in here and I told the guy, I was like, I forget what I told y'all.
I forgot too.
But it wasn't the real story. But then it came out because I was just like, look, y'all. I don't know why I told y'all that, but I told them what happened. So
that's the worst. Like, because as soon as you tell a lie, you know, like, dude, I should have just told the truth. Because I don't even remember what the lie was.
And I don't. That's the thing. And that's the thing. I don't. And I was like, bro, I don't even know why I lied to y'all because y'all just gonna laugh at me anyways. So man. What happened was one of the old chicks.
This is way back. Way back.
Way back.
Not wifey.
No, not wifey. Way back. One of the old chicks. I was getting some oral, PG-13.
Oh.
Around the bend.
That's what really happened?
And I came to that point, and you know.
Okay, I didn't know it was
the windshield wipers. The windshield wipers came on, bro, and I hit and slammed to the back of the car.
Hey, you could have gave me 20 guesses. I didn't think we were going there.
That's what happened.
I mean, that's fine. I didn't think we were going there.
Nobody was hurt. The Saturn was hurt, of course. I didn't get in trouble.
Discontinued the Saturns anyway.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, yeah, that's.
Yo, that plot thick.
That's my car.
Quick.
That plot got thick quick.
Like when I remember I was at his house and we were downloading music or something. And he's like, man, I need to tell you something. I was like, what's up? He's like, I need to tell you the real reason why I wrecked the car. I was like, oh, you wrecked the car again? He's like, nah, the
real reason for the other time.
I forgot the name car. And he said, I'm just like, oh, what happened? He's like, man, I was at the tipping point, and then I'm just like, bruh.
My toes had curled, and I hit the accelerator instead.
So before we get,
we'll be back after this. So I got a call from the SC. Hey, man, you can't say.
So I have been in a car accident. It wasn't that. Well, it was severe. Actually, I wasn't on the car. I was on a motorcycle. And so I was stopped at the light, and I was adjusting my gloves when the light turned green. And all of the bike riders know when you're in neutral, you gotta actually lean, kick it down to first, go. In the midst of me kicking into first gear, and starting to let off the clutch.
Oh, you popped it?
No, a car smacked me in the back.
Oh no!
And then they drove off.
Man, here's the thing. People don't understand how much that happened. A good friend of mine that I used to ride with, the same thing happened to him. And you don't even know. And
my bike is so loud you can hear it through any speaker that you have. Like, if Chaz had my cousin Chaz, he has a Crown Vic.
You have?
I have a Kawasaki ZXR.
Okay. Nice.
So my cousin Chaz, he has a Crown Vic, and it has, I think, 212s in the back. And he can still hear my bike over his music. So my bike is loud.
Yeah, that's how we like it.
So you can hear it. And for some reason, I was letting off the clutch, and then boom, and I'm just like, fuck. And then drove off. I re-injured my toe. It wasn't that serious, but it definitely could have been. My bike wasn't that messed up. It was easy for me to fix.
That's a blessing, because sometimes
just cosmetics. But it was pretty bad. But
the key to the story is when something goes wrong with the toe, something bad about to happen.
Oh my goodness!
Just get the toe off the gas. Like,
that's you.
If you know
you weren't focused. I was focused.
I was very focused.
So can we talk real quick?
Yeah, can we talk?
Can we talk? Not about what Shaw talking about. Can we talk, please? No Tevin Campbell. So Cincinnati was recognized by Essence magazine for being a top emerging minority entrepreneur destination. Sobi, does that surprise you?
I think that's dope. I don't know if it's such a surprising factor because we know for multiple people that's opened up their own franchises, their own business, as well as yourself. Like, I just think that's a dope aspect, and I'm glad that the city is finally getting recognized for something of this nature rather than some of the bad things that happen.
I agree. I agree with everything he said. I mean, I've been in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and had us flashing all over CNN because it's riots here. So it's like when you can, come back and have it to where I'm actually a part of this, and this is something that we're being recognized for. Like, that's kind of a full circle, really cool moment, or really cool thing for me. I don't have anything negative to say about that. I think it's awesome, and I think it's only just beginning. People, there's more and more that's coming because people are looking for certain services. People are looking for certain services to be done with a certain type of quality. and there's people who are seeing like, well, no, I can do this on my own. Like, I don't need to have somebody else do this and then I'm doing all the work anyway and let them take half the money or something like that, you know? So it's a great time for that if you're willing to do the work to build your product and build your brand.
It surprises me, but not in the way that you all think.
Okay.
Because and I know a lot of people here in Cincinnati may agree with me and the other won't. So it's not going to be like a 50-50 split. But if you think about it, a lot of people in Cincinnati don't like seeing other people succeed.
You know, well,
that's not just a Cincinnati thing.
But I think it kind of hurts that. But when I saw it, I was just like, man, really? Like, because honestly, a lot of people in Cincinnati have that crab in the barrel mentality.
I can agree with you there.
It shocked me, like, wow, really? Like, I mean, even when I'm doing my own thing, it's like I want to reach out to this brother and this sister, and they're just like, well, I'm doing this right now, and let me get in the door first. Like,
well, and let me tell you this. That is what happens a lot of times, but I think that's just the business arena just in general because it's so saturated from big corporation all the way down. So I think it just naturally, it takes time for the people who I'm telling you have had to work their butts off to get to where they are. Like, it takes time for them to kind of weed through the minutia of it, because there's people that I've worked with people that, okay, we're supposed to be doing one thing and it turns into another, to where literally at some points when you're doing business deals, it's me looking at another person in their eye and us having a handshake and me saying that I'm going to do something and deliver on it, and then me, you know, assuming and hoping that I can trust that other person to do the same thing. So I'm glad from a minority standpoint. Like, obviously I want to see more minority entrepreneurs out there, because I know sometimes that it's a little bit jaded, you know, one way. So I just love to see that, and I hope that we can get more out of, and I hope we can get a little bit more out of that crab in the barrel mentality.
For sure. I as a entrepreneur and a business owner, I always told everyone, like, listen, what you can use me. That's what I'm here for. The point is when you start to misuse me, and I got that from Benny Single. Like, I'm here. I paved this way. If I have a connect over here, it's yours. But it's when you always want. So,
so let's go on to Davis' corner, because I want to make sure we get plenty of time to talk about Davis stuff. So first question we got for you is obvious, because we're gonna get the knocks on. So first question that we got for you, I think everybody wants to know, like, what led you to get Lions Pride started?
So I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't talk about some of the stuff that happened before I actually got the confidence to start Lions Pride Weightlifting, which was the Barbell club that I started. So, like, throughout my life, and this is a story that I tell a lot, it's a story that I'll continue to tell as I move forward, but I was a person that grew up without a father. Like, I was in a single parent household. My mom worked a lot, and there was just some natural stuff that occurred with me for lack of not having a father there. And for me, you know, I had a father who at the time was, you know, a fairly prominent pastor around the area, and he, you know, always lived less than 20 minutes away from me. So it was just natural stuff that occurred with me that I chose not to deal with for one reason or another, that just ultimately led to things happening in ways that they shouldn't have as I was going through life, and it just ultimately gave me a lot of stuff that I ended up having to deal with ultimately when I found out that I was becoming a father. Like, either deal with it or unfortunately pass that stuff down, which is something that I didn't want to do, you know. So I spent a lot of time working through that stuff, which all of this stuff ends up being tough work, but it's necessary work. So I spent a lot of time doing that, and what that did for me was it allowed me to come into the now, like where I was at that time, to where I realized, like, no, I just live in this kind of bubble of a circle where, you know, I'm just waiting on something to happen, and then even if it doesn't happen, like, I'm still just there waiting on it. So there's nothing else I'm not progressing. You know, I'm fine on the outside, but this is stuff that I'm dealing with internally first. You know, so I end up working through that stuff. And at the time, I was working at Ohio National, and I had gotten another job. And then ultimately, I was still continuing to coach CrossFit, and I always have loved coaching and teaching. And so I got the opportunity to start the Barbell Club at the place where I was coaching. And Barbell consists of the snatch and the clean and jerk, which are two classic Olympic weightlifting movements. So when you watch the Summer Olympics, those are the movements that you will see in the Olympics. So that was a methodology that I started to really enjoy. I started the Barbell Club at the place where I was at. It grew to be bigger than I thought it was going to be, faster than I thought it was going to grow. I ended up getting about 40 people through my program within the first year, and I was holding at like 28 strong within that first year. I was using a really small space. It's about 1,000 or 1,500 square feet that I was sharing with like the rest of the gym. A smaller space adjacent to their bigger space.
Sure.
And so it was one of those things for me where, as I got out of all that other stuff that I was talking about, and I really started using the brain power that I now realize that I had, and just looking at all of the things that were kind of sitting as like just pieces of a puzzle all over the place, but as I can see a little bit clearer now, well, it's like, well, no, that one goes right there, and that one goes right there, and why am I not doing this by myself?
Right.
You know, or why am I not looking to take more control of this and like create my own brand so that I don't feel like I'm being taken advantage of? And so it was one of those things to where I had a 3 to 5 year plan that I had laid out, which was that cushy plan where I had my nice corporate work from home job, that I was making good money, the family was doing good. I was now making a little bit of side money with this brand that I had built up with the Barbell Club, and it's like, I'm good. And I could have just kind of eased into it that way. But then it's also like, well, this nice cushy corporate job, they're taking more and more of my time.
Right.
You know, and it was one of those things, I remember this as a turning point for me. I'm working that corporate job where it's great. I work from home. I've got a lot of flexibility, but then they also believe that they can just call you at any time. Yeah. And I never forget, I'm coaching my Barbell Club, which is my baby and my passion. And I get called out of it on a Sunday. 9 o'clock in the morning. Get called out on a Sunday to hop on a call for work. And this guy, I'm working from home, so I never met this guy, but he's one of our higher ups. Gets on the phone, he knows me by name, I guess, because he can see me on Skype. But he's like, "Dave, don't make any plans today. We're going to be here for a while." I never even met this guy, never talked to this guy or anything.
Wow.
And like that hit me in a certain way to where I wish I could have jumped through the phone and choked him, because like it just came off super disrespectful to me, because it's like, yo, at that time, at that point, I understood how important time was. And it's like, nah, you don't even, like, you didn't even introduce yourself to me, let alone do you know me, and that's how you feel comfortable with talking. And it was one, like, all those things just start coming together for me, where it's like, no, it can't be a 3 to 5 year plan. It has to be like a now plan.
Gotcha.
And so I really just started maneuvering and trying to plan out. I started talking to people that were close to me and letting them know what my thought process was and what my plans were. So this is literally last November was when probably October, when we went to Vegas, that's when I had made it up in my head that I wanted to do it. And then in November, I really started to kind of like tell certain people like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. What do you think? And then ultimately going into December, I'm like, hey, I'm quitting my job. Like, why not now? Like, let's not take any of this into the new year. You got a little money that you can save up. Only thing stopping this from being something special is the time and me at that point. And so I created a little plan to where I got myself a few more paychecks. I quit my job as of January 4th this year. And I walked down that Monday, and my work computer and everything was gone. It was just my MacBook and my little notebook, and I got to work. And every day I would just write stuff in there, it was everything from going to find a building, trying to find investors, getting a business plan done, all of it. It was just writing stuff down every day and just trying to check stuff off. And if I didn't get it checked off, it got an arrow and it got moved to the next day. And slowly it turned into finding the building. Then once we found the building, it was, okay, now it's a really bad looking basement with no lights. So now like someone has to like push that vision along. So it was just a process, man, to where I know that I like to take care of people a certain way, and I know that there's a certain type of brand and business that I want to put together, and the only way to have the control of it that I needed was to do it this way. So
Gotcha.
it really just became a cool little story to where it was absolutely my vision to bring to fruition, but part of my vision was like all the people now and, you know, leading up to it that have been a part of making it become a reality.
For sure.
So,
That's dope, bro.
so yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell how it came to be.
So with that, all that being said, like, so do you have any tips for like any of the young entrepreneurs coming up, or let's get to the weightlifting? Any tips on weightlifting, anything like that?
So any tips for entrepreneurs? You know, I'm never gonna stop anybody from following their passions, but it's something to where I also have to tell people, man, really look at yourself in the mirror before you step out and do this, because you will get knocked down. And if you're a person who's like, well, no, I ain't gonna get knocked down, you gonna get knocked out. You're gonna get knocked out because it's just a tough thing to do, for all of the reasons that we've talked about before. It's just a really, really tough thing to do. There's a certain part of that process that's just painstaking, man. Having something that you really care about and are passionate about, and having to put that into a business plan, and then shopping that business plan and having people just look at you like, I don't see it.
And then refine it because they don't see
and then you gotta refine it, like, and that's your baby, like that's your pride and joy, to where it's like, no, I see it plain as day, as plain as that thing sitting right there. I see it, and you got somebody else like, I don't. Yeah. And that's the person that ultimately you need money from to make that vision become a reality. Sure. You know what I mean? So it's a constant ego check. It's a constant opportunity for things to just kind of be put in a certain light for you. And if you're not willing to deal with the stuff that comes to light, you don't get to, quote unquote, take that next step in the process, which that's what you're trying to lead up to in the process, is that ultimate goal of fulfilling your dream. Sure. So that would be my advice to entrepreneurs. From a movement and fitness standpoint, a weightlifting standpoint, I really take a holistic approach to it, to where my preferred training methodology right now is Olympic weightlifting. Okay. That's what Lions Pride Weightlifting is, my barbell club. But then our gym, which is 14,000 square feet, we're equipped to do personal training, which that can stretch a number of things. If we need to do sport specific, if we're doing rehabilitation services, like we have people there that we work with. Either it will be us doing that, or if it needs to go to a higher level of training, we have people there that can do that. We hit it from a nutrition standpoint, and then also because I got access to such a big space, we have an area that we're going to offer martial arts self-defense. We have a functional / group fitness class. And then we'll use some of the outer area of our bigger room to do the recovery aspect of stuff, where we'll look to build out some space for a physical therapist, a massage therapist, and then I want to have a sauna in there at some point too. So it'll be, I'm coining it Lions Pride Wellness Center, your one-stop shop for health and wellness. And ultimately, look what we're looking to do, and this has already started. We want to be of service to our community. One of the first big contracts that we did, which we're very appreciative of, we did a contract with Don High School. And so we've got, and they were just down there today, we've got anywhere from 20 to 40 young girls that come down to our facility Monday through Thursday, 2 to 3 p.m. And they get to choose from, it's a combo group fitness circuit style training class, combo with the martial arts self-defense stuff. Rob Jones and some of the folks that work under him will be teaching that class, and Rob Jones is an 8th degree black belt in jiu-jitsu, so he's a legit dude. Like, he knows what he's doing. He's trained professional fighters, the whole nine. And then the rest of the girls that don't do that combined class, we'll take about 8 to 10 of them into Lions Pride Weightlifting. We'll teach them barbell, teach them Olympic weightlifting, ultimately hoping to get them on the competition platform and get them to compete. So excuse me, it's been a really cool thing, to where today we had about, I think, 15 to 20 girls that came down there. We're talking about girls that they don't know probably fitness other than what they've seen on television, most of them. So to have them all come down there, and all of them except I think one today, participated in the actual demo where they had to move, which was cool to see them together, to get the music playing for them a little bit, and then to see them actually like kind of come together and do something together and finish that little workout that we did for them.
Sweet.
So it's been a really great thing to where the gym is the gym, but that's the meat and potatoes of it. Like being able to be of service to people and do and be that same type of role model that all of us could look back and say, well, no, I remember this person or this group did this for me and it shaped my life in this way.
Right.
Like I think that's our responsibility where we are at this age, to where we can still relate. But then, we are a little bit older and we have a little bit more wisdom, and I think that is our responsibility to give back to the youth. So that's what we're doing there. It's a great thing. I'm so grateful for where it is now, because it's like all of that stuff that we did leading up to it, to where you didn't actually get to see the results of it right away. It's like all of that stuff is coming back now, to where we just get to come in and do our work, which is great. So
let's wrap up the show. So we got that knock. Let's finish it up with the segments.
Yes.
So you want to bring us into our first one?
Shameless plug, brother. This is where you talk about your branding, your business. You go in more in depth in it, let the people know where they can find you at and how to get in touch with you.
Okay, so
yes.
My shameless plug, like I've told many people that have come into the gym now, anywhere that I go and talk about it, I'm not looking to sell anything to you. What you see or what you hear is what you get. So the type of care that I try to take with the people that I come in contact with, or the people that I work with, that's going to be the same type of care that you see taken with our facility. Our facility is located downtown Cincinnati, west end of downtown Cincinnati. If you're familiar with the main post office, it's right up the street from that. If you're familiar with the City Gospel Mission, we sit right behind the City Gospel Mission. So 1213 York Street, Cincinnati, Ohio 45214. If you want to keep up with us, see our progress with everything, we will have a website that will get published in probably the next month. Here we're finishing up the final stages of that, which should streamline everything for us, which is our main goal, to where people should be able to go in, see our mission, see our costs, see what we're doing, everything that we offer, be able to click, schedule, pay for, and everything right from the website. As of right now, if you want to keep up with progress on Instagram, my personal Instagram is at D Fair.42. And I'm usually posting on there my training stuff that I'm doing with other members of my Barbell club, and then just progress with the building in general. And then at Lions Pride Weightlifting is our brand and our Barbell club official page.
Make sure you guys check it out.
So they got on our
that is dope gear.
Yeah, so both guys, they got on our LPW shirts. If one of you want to turn around, we did this LPW shirt for my son who has Angelman syndrome. So we did a Cure the Angels on the back. So this was a really cool opportunity for us. Angelman syndrome is a genetic disorder that is not very well known. So it was great for us. We sold 95 t-shirts. Wow. So to me, that means 95 people that will be walking around with these shirts on, and then countless other people that'll see Cure the Angels, and that will stick in their head, and hopefully at some point connect those dots for people and just bring more awareness to Angelman's, to where hopefully we're hoping to find a cure for him at some point. And there is research that started on that, and that's why we're donating all the proceeds that we get from the t-shirts. We want to put, quote unquote, our money where our mouths are, and make sure that we're supporting the cause that obviously is very, very important to me, with it being my son. So we appreciate you guys' support on that.
No problem.
No problem at all. Anytime, brother. So moving on to our next segment.
Yes.
It's called What You Looking At. So what you're looking at is a topic that's totally freeform, totally freestyle. We don't know what each other's going to say. Mm-hmm. It's currently an event or a topic. Could be a new car, could be something going on in the world or the news that's currently catching your eye. So that's what we call it, what you're looking at. Mm-hmm. So David, I'm going to ask you right now, what you looking at?
So I'm a person that I usually end up taking care of people a lot more than I take care of myself. And I'm at the point now where, like I said, we've done a lot of work to get the business together. And it's cool to have it where it is because I get to see all my friends and family come in and utilize the space and different things like that. But what I'm looking at right now, once this money gets to where I want it, I got a truck that I want. And I've hidden my itch to ride my bike. I haven't ridden my bike in probably almost 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And I've really hidden it, and it hasn't bothered me much because you have kids and different things like that, and
Sure.
you get different priorities. But man, the itch has become this. I can't do anything about it. So I got to get back on a bike at some point. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm trying to figure out how to make those two things come to fruition in the next few months here. So.
What about you, Mr. Jamal Lee?
What I'm looking at are new houses.
New houses. Okay.
I'm looking to, like I said, I'm looking into my idea book. I think it was last week or the year before. I had this big idea book, and I sketch and I draw or write something that I like, so it doesn't escape me. And I try to. I'm in the process of now starting actually going forth with my nonprofit, and then bringing these other businesses in on the side, so I can have residual income. Now, with all of that being said, we need to expand our house. We have 2 kids, and the house that we live in it's great, but the schooling around it, we in Cincinnati, so we're trying to either get our daughter into performing arts, or go to the Oak Hill School District, or move down south.
Well, that's where my son is, in the Oak Hill School District.
Yeah, so we're looking for houses, and the housing market is just, it's a seller's market. It's houses that should be going for 60, 70 are going for 90 and 80, 80 and 90.
Yeah, it is definitely a seller's market. Right?
It is crazy, and I'm just like, man, I don't want to spend all this money for a crappy house, and I'm going to have to rebuild. So that's what I'm looking at, not only but my family. That and freaking precious metals. But
Precious metals.
yeah. So what you looking at?
So to be honest, I had a subject that I was looking at earlier that really enticed me at work, and I should have written it down, but I don't remember what it is. So right now, what's currently catching my eye, and I'm just kind of playing that game like, man, what am I looking at that's kind of catching my eye? I'm looking at my PlayStation, man. 'Cause it keeps making this noise right now, and I hope it doesn't get over this. So I apologize if it does. But it was making this noise where the disc is actually supposed to be ejecting, and it's done that for some time. So I read up on a couple lines on how to fix it, and both ways it's like a temporary fix. So I just want to know, for those of you who are game heads and those of you who own a PS4 that may have these issues, can you give me a permanent fix for this? Because it's kind of annoying. Like, I can't buy a disc anymore. I got to download all my games. I can't. So without the fear, because, if I'm playing a game, I'm in the middle, so man, I get so mad.
Yeah.
I get so mad. I got to watch who's in the room. If they are in the room, I got to apologize for what I say afterwards.
Yeah.
Because I get upset at it. So I'm sorry. I forgot. I had a really good enticing subject earlier. I remember it because it touched me. But, yeah, that's currently what I'm looking at, man.
PlayStation is touching you right now.
It is, man. It is. Because
that's why it is, and I have your electronics working right now.
Because that's where I get my peace sometimes, man.
Yep.
So that, like I said, like right there, right now, what it's doing, I'm just like, man, you my piece of soul. Don't let me get mad at you.
Yeah, you're going to be in pieces. Then I'm going to be mad.
Exactly.
All right, we're moving on to Hallpass.
Ooh, so the Hallpass, our staple segment, one that's been with us from the get-go. Dave, are you aware what the Hallpass is?
Yes. Let me make sure I'm on the same page with you guys, though. Let me make sure let me know what you guys' definition of Hallpass is.
So the Hallpass is consent, written consent, verbal consent, text consent, email consent by your significant other to have relations with another individual. You got a free Hallpass. So every week we have a guest come on, do their Hallpass. Me and 3, we got to think of a Hallpass every week. So that can be a bit of an outreach sometimes. So David, since you are a special guest, I'm going to give you the one-time Hallpass. Who would it be?
The one-time Hallpass. Man, that is a tough one. I was telling, I think I was talking to your wife about it a little bit.
Man, she tell you her Hallpass?
She did not tell me her Hallpass. And here's the thing. And we could go into this another podcast. I don't know if I necessarily want to go with it for like who I would do that with. Like if I would take the Hallpass, because I'm at a space where it's like, well, I don't know if I would want my girl to take the Hallpass.
No, that's commendable. I got you.
So, but when I was talking to her, we were talking about how. So I'm an Olympic weightlifting guy. So I end up watching a lot of like Olympic weightlifting videos. So, and I'm an athlete. So I enjoy watching movement. So then if you put that along with, okay, you got a beautiful woman that's doing a movement that you enjoy watching, it's like, okay, cool. So I won't necessarily go as far as the full Hallpass, but somebody I enjoy watching who I think is a really beautiful girl. There's a girl from Venezuela that competes in Olympic weightlifting. She's won a couple medals. Her name is Lydia Valentine.
Oh, she was with Mike Rashid.
Was she?
I don't know if she was with him. She was in a couple videos with him.
She Hallpassed him?
No.
Very funny.
Yeah.
What about you, Jamarly?
So my Hallpass would be Jasmine Simon or Jasmine Simone. I don't know exactly how to pronounce last name because she really does interviews, but she is the chick off of Ballers. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the show Ballers.
I haven't watched it in a while. That must be a new one.
I haven't either.
So you remember the lineman that played in 8 Mile?
Hart. Yes. She's
really?
beautiful. She's very
okay.
She got that down home feel to her. Yes.
I know she's married to a gentleman. I forget. He was you remember when the lineman from 8 Mile, I forgot his name, but he was on the Miami Dolphins staff. His boss, that's her husband in real life.
Oh,
really?
word.
So I know she's married.
He plays an asshole on that show too.
But she is. So
yeah, she's very beautiful. She is very beautiful.
I'm not going into.
Could have dabbled into that more.
Man,
she's very beautiful.
She is. She's nice.
Like she look like she would.
I gotta see both of y'all. Make sure you put them on the ground. I gotta see both of these.
I am.
So mine came about just because I came up with these. I used to be an avid wrestling fan back in the day, so I had a few wrestling videos pop up on my YouTube. And I was like, man, I used to crush on a lot of these divas, but one of them in particular, just because, like you said, she used to do these moonsaults in the air. She got into her. Lita. The Hardy Boys.
She was with the Hardy Boys. Yeah, I remember her. I remember her.
Man, I was like, I wish she moonsaulted.
Lita was a beautiful girl.
I would have called right
Thank you so much for joining us this week. I apologize for my brethren.
Away from that conversation.
He is on a whole new level. I am so sorry. I can't will him in.
That was back then.
Please make sure you follow us at mixitup.513 and follow us on YouTube at mixspaceit up513. We love you. We're going to continue to come with you with new flavor. Make sure you like and subscribe to all our videos. And thank you so much for following us. You have a good day.
Coming on the show.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys.
If you got any questions or any segment topics that you'd like us to discuss,
yes,
please hit us up on our email at 513mixitup@gmail.com.
For sure. So thank you so much. We love you. Peace.
Thanks, guys.